okayfm 101.7.
Okay, 101.7 is in the Yanko lawyer Eduji Tamakloe. Nayani Miankasa me cancel Godwin Eduji Tamakloe Esquire and Tretre and Como. Cancer me more channel pay.
Welcome. I don't pay major also. Well, I wouldn't say a wow dying to know me yen proper. Welcome. I don't pay me Chiao.
Meso be jo so pa we dia mabanche ya me beji ye beji legal education kakra ene wo comments kakra wo Kekos North ruling judgment ba ye judge ne dia ma high court ndi ma ye na se wutie kura na national chairman of the NDC kura so kan say mobeko na mobeko appeal no me ade mamintie judgment no wo commentary kakra e wo say ne osi hu niema esiye no me ade ansa na yeba the way forward.
Yo back on me where the medase and okay sabi media mene jaja odi asem no mene no enye adwen based on the conclusions now or reason any the reasoning now a time conclusion now bra kwami I didn't make us say now said you asema omudiko to a judge name ewo Cape Coast High Court no for us a very simple matter, so I'll try and break some issues down near United. One would say Article 94(2)(a) of the 1992 Constitution. That constitutional provision, Rakwami said you, now a bill the FN of presidential, not a bill Presidential Election Act. PNDC law now, the year 1992 election. The same provision are basically carried into the 1992 Constitution. Now, Sebio, that provision are talking about allegiance to a country other than Ghana. One can say you owe the citizenship of a country other than Ghana.
Aye, lawyer, and now among for quote to Article 94. No, it is what I me person chemupa difference war allegiance any citizenship.
No correct. Sebi where the black woman mano da sumuna. Ebia Asante Mayamu. Hello.
Brato mi tio pa.
Ebia Asante Mayamu. Sebi oye dagomba ni. Na uwo Asante Mayamu. Eni asiu ohene ewo Asante Mayamu.
Ena mame sanfa to so kra ma wo se. Sa ahemfo no ayesie ewo Asante Mayamu no eyotumfo na esie.
Meba inti ho na meba.
Okay.
Inti no o allegiance to say otumfo because ono na asiu as say maybe Dagomba chief of Ashanti region. That's what I say.
Matias.
But the fact say we see Dagomba chief of Ashanti region, no, and so it say Chinchina no we Ashanti ni.
Ebi.
But what I say.
Hey, mama ma ba ko. Ti obodom hene.
Aha. Na me person me use those specifics. Sometimes they raise a lot of engineer man so. But the name part change in say the framers of the Constitution intended say a person who owes the citizenship of another country other than Ghana or plus Ghana cannot be a member of parliament. Nankoma Kanasa.
Yet a situation whereby under the laws of the country.
Another example. Sebio America, some president, former president Obama.
Obama, Donald Trump.
But Obama na me use.
Okay.
Say Obama, you na ye to me say the word Obama na ya America din.
Oh, Debbie.
Ye Kenyan din. Ana
na Hussein kura sa hemfimfi.
Na ne papa kusua ade wo Harvard. Economics. Inu onya na maame wo honum sebe. Na one no ewo no. It by birth no, naturally no, there are two blood flowing through the person called Obama. And yes, sir. One America, the other Kenya. When we say per the scenario wahano, Obama won't mean be president of Ghana. Per this reason, you know, it means he owes allegiance to America and owes allegiance to Ghana. Now, Bra Kwame, I want to say what I did with you. Something we are shipping out. Okay, 1992. Sebio, Emrana Rollins, NDC 4 years, Rollins, the NDC flag bearer for the 92 election. Papa, your friend, Bilson.
Bilson, Dr. Bilson.
I did not call court. Say, now Rollins, I no, Papa, from UK.
okayfm.
Hey, Sabra, I think he was represented by one of the lawyers, near friend Joe Randolph.
No, that's Rollins' lawyer.
Rollins' lawyer in America. Rollins' lawyer, near friend Joe Randolph. Lawyer, I'll be no office. The case
represented Wilson, 1992. It was October, NDC filing nomination in Rollins. And now, the idea no call high court say, now Rollins Crano. We have all reason to know, say, Papa cry for UK. And now, Mammy, the Ganani, Intino, Wokrano, quote unquote, we are dual citizen. Now, because we are dual citizen, Intino, I just say, Oko. British High Commission, echo this certificate of renunciation. And send this year put you forward as some candidates.
okayfm.
And so because someone yes Antino, the Oma Yenino offends the Presidential Election Act, ENDC 258 or so. You know, yen declare the nomination as void. Now court may say, we are dealing with the issue of allegiance.
Hey, make I say, Sabra Kra Wamu ye case in Wamu say, Obi Kura will know what me I enlisted into the Ghana Army.
Make up.
Make I case in the
It judge I can say. We are dealing with the issue of allegiance. Now, Papa Emra only say into Ghana Armed Forces no. He took an oath of allegiance. I was swear say Ghana no besum no in the 60s. And why you grab a head of states? And also no, it's time no or take it oath of allegiance. It is by reason of this no, while fulfilling the requirements under the Presidential Election Act. And so there was no need for him to go to the British High Commission to get a certificate of renunciation. Now, Dr. Bilson demanded say Rollins and produce it. And so why? And our court say even before ordinary nomination or say the FN statutory declaration, I am Ranoma Hokwai. And in that statutory declaration, was I declare say or owe allegiance to any other country. So when you put all of this in together, by fulfilling the requirement of the law, that is how that matter ended. And this was in October 1992. Now fast forward to this scenario. And remember our timeline. Oh yeah, December 2019. Because that I'm not sitting in the MPP. Primaries early. But what I say? Hello? Hello. Okay. It's here primaries early because we call those seats orphan seats. It's here now on winning primaries no. And now the NDC constituency chairman for Assin North. A year the FN attestation. And now together no, almost can an application form. Send it to the Canadian authorities. Sebio Papai Abeye NDC parliamentary candidate. Now, by the requirement of the law, or was nationality or blah blah or any other place, or allegiance to any other country now, or renounce that allegiance. It's like you disavow. Sebi Nana Sanchihini. Obeya say omudi we no opomponso anasa na ye frɛ no e de ma no
pomponsuo
na okura no wa swear say meso asanchini na asanchini nkwan asanchiman nkwan na meso no na sama soma asanchiman ya ABCD entomi
yes ai eno no was say man som nananom ma nyese ya me cantam make say wa can't asantemantan kese
exactly
and it say what swear out no
was swear you know we no or ye attestation or the count in order come Canada for say minimum atun kwanta ya pai I no longer from this day owe allegiance to you again. The lawyer at the Sanyo May in our car in a Canadian authorities.
Lawyer, Wakuko knew how you who's the one you said them our fans were a chill.
Maybe I want mammy. Now, also, and or different.
Bob Awesome, Awesome.
But all shady and not mansionary.
And it's a point.
The other day, Sebio may call Yami Senior Chachu of Fee.
Okay.
And me who say, I don't want to be with you, and I'm say, hey, Senior. Sebio, I believe if I don't want you is no, Francinina or Pihana Kebino.
And I hear you say, Papa Chachu, a very, 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 very jovial pa.
He's the most jovial person you can have on earth. Also, it is a fancy woman.
There's a gun on the idea. This is a go for you.
Wow, Joseph, delicacy. Obi pet, not only delicacy.
Aye, salute you.
That's not coming. It did not make an analysis. The constituency chairman, a attestation. No, the car application. Because apparently, Canada, you must give a reason to provide the parliamentary election now will go through now as the reason all these are ejumadian and the Canadian authorities in fact accepted almost response to him. Why wouldn't we say December 2019 maybe we are 2020 and our COVID and it was a bit more stringently applied outside. For almost 2 months now of office, it was around 26 November. Hello, 26 November. Then I almost responded to him with a certificate. By which time in December 2019, no, I sent those issues to the Canadian authorities already. And if I may say, there is important that we draw a distinction between allegiance and nationality for a purpose. Sebio, answer why? Brakwame, Emra, about on yaye we na, it was obvious Obabi winning seat. Some MPP members are or more constituency or for me group, yeah, friend of concerned youth of Assin North. omode petition ekoma electoral commission. Omode petition ekoma electoral commission. In the electoral commission district officer, I can't say that be. Social media, as I'm saying, it will escalate command regional director. In a regional director, and so can't say, I say media, this is a national in a bit it will escalate a command national. Criteria or escalate command national no black army. The National Electoral Commission wrote to him demanding say on show proof of that renunciation and abibisa. Inti osene the certificate of renunciation any bibia at the command electoral commission national and not na electoral commission epine so say uncontested the December election. Nachi awon wasema court no take the view say October open nomination no he should have had the certificate in October. And so to the extent say he had a certificate in November no we violated the law. Meanwhile, Section 20 of the PNDC law, Representation of the People's Act, and so can say the person ought not to be disqualified at the time of the election. But what you need, or see, you should not be disqualified at the time of the election. So even for the sake of argument, as at the time of the election, no one through the petition from the concerned youth of Assin, no are presented the certificate from my electoral commission before the December election.
Certificate not date ben also
26 November. No, I send the certificate no grad Akoma Electoral Commission 26 November 2020. Court need take the view say because nomination period 5th and 9th October no, the certificate should have been in October say 4th. But once it came in November, you are disqualified. Now you see
me ba jo mumra no ebia obia ko rape akwala bi ye di akwala na sama ana wo akwala ni ayi no nipa na rape no wo be 17 ye di asem ma no konya 18 wonya 18 ye timi nyanza ka se sabe ye di asem ye ni nwie wonya 18 je fe 18 no emo no.
Okay, good. The response I made to that question is that in the case of election, Minya Gary no more a case be ma Dr. Parkway Sindu. Okaya in the 2016 election, Electoral Commission disqualified Parkway Sindu based on nomination form. So Okaya has into echo High Court. In a High Court, they can say, Electoral Commission. So, what your nomination form? It doesn't end it there. I think I want to say, now say, scrutiny, I scrutinize it. Now say, mistake in your maybe one. What offer the applicant here, the nominee, the opportunity say, obey me, I corrected that mistake. In the case of Indum, the rules of natural justice, no one man, no. And I would take a decision against him. So to that extent, with disqualification, I will disqualify, null and void. So, Kaisa incidents. Gary, any lawyer, senior lawyer, I equal in a representative practicing. Electoral Commission says they were not satisfied with the decision. Into almost filed the FN decision, right? Echo Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court deliver on ruling. Osha, and then the nomination period in the 2016 election, a bit close. Okay. And now, the Supreme Court can't say there is a difference between nomination period and nomination date. or say the nomination period extends beyond the nomination. The nomination period extends beyond the nomination date. So for electoral purposes, no, when you talk about nomination period, it only ends when the Electoral Commission had offered the person opportunity for alterations and amendments. Now, in the case of the Honorable MP for Assin North, no, whereas the nomination date was 5th to 9th, no, the Electoral Commission still accepted a petition after the 9th and now wrote to him to respond. It was after they accepted his response. So if the judge had adverted his mind to the Supreme Court decision, which is binding on him, on taking the view, say, the nomination period ended on the 9th. And so if the certificate came on 26 November, then it's wrong. And my brother Gary, he represented Park Resindo. Say, Entra, Obeka. Brakwame, only represented Park Resindo, only senior lawyer, you put. So obviously, he took a view, say, the nomination period ended on the 9th. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court said no. Because the period for alteration, amendment, and all those things are part of the nomination period. Now, Kwame said if you are saying say, the nomination period ended on the 9th of October, how come that the Electoral Commission accepted a petition against it? How come that the Electoral Commission wrote to him to respond to the petition? How come, say, or sending the certificate of renunciation, the Electoral Commission accepted it and now cleared him to contest the election? So quite clearly, I mean, if with the greatest respect with the greatest man, not as much, to the judge in question, if he had adverted his mind to the decision of the Supreme Court in the Republic versus High Court, General Jurisdiction 12, Expert Electoral Commission, Dr. Parkwesi Indum, as interested party, you will not have come to that conclusion. Because the only reason why he declared the seat null and void, and he said, the Supreme Court decision in Zenato has said you should be qualified at the time of the nomination period. And so to that extent, on any nomination period, was 9th to that's 9th, 5th to 9th October. And so since the certificate came in November, it is null and void. Yes, it will be. First of all, there is a statute, that's section 20 of the Representation of the People's Act. I can say you should be qualified or you should not be disqualified at the time of the election. That's one thing. Two, the Supreme Court had clarified that to say, the period is different from the nomination date. And that the period includes the time for alterations and amendments. These are the decisions of the Supreme Court which have not been set aside or departed from, and it binds the judge. So, to the extent that we're taking this view, we feel that, no, I mean, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. And so, like Wao pointed out, like our national chairman had indicated, we believe that this matter should be litigated to its logical conclusion. Whereupon the apex court will tell us that on decision in the Republic versus High Court, General Jurisdiction, Expert Electoral Commission, Parkwesi interested party is wrong. Then we know that is it. But to the extent that decision of the Supreme Court is binding on the High Court, conclusion now or reach here cannot stand per the laws of our country. Because in any case, the decision of the Supreme Court is binding on all lower courts, from the Court of Appeal to the High Court to all other courts, be it inferior. So these are the critical matters, with the greatest respect. The distinction, with me and draw, leading to this serious, with respect, miscarriage of justice, Abba against the Honorable MP for Assin. And you see, Brakwame, I say me by me MP. Oh, and the judge himself made those comments. So the way a manner this thing was done would amount to deception of public officer. With the greatest respect to my lord, first of all, that issue of deception was not before the court. So I do not know why he veered into those areas. But granted, for the sake of argument, that he even made those comments. Which public officer did he deceive? Brakwame, which public officer did he deceive?
When this will be the
man dealt with.
The laws of Ghana.
No, sir, the 1992 constitution. Criminal law is different.
Sure.
From constitutional provisions per se. And yes, sir, anytime the Supreme Court declared an act to be unconstitutional, the person will be prosecuted. Different. No, brother, I'm just
okay.
In this case, Oshia, he dealt principally with the Electoral Commission. It is this same Electoral Commission that wrote to him that they wanted to see his certificate of renunciation, which he provided to them, and they, satisfied with it, allowed him to contest. So which officer did he deceive? Ubisa omuso ebi ato sakandeda. Brakwame tieni you. Yes you ebi ato, may he so rest in peace, Honorable Sakandeda. Brakwame, the truth of the matter is say, Sebe, na Honorable Sakande no kra almost 2 nationalities, 3, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and the United Kingdom. And so obey MP kra na still or use those passports.
Okayfm 101.6.
This is completely different from the case at Yekai. So people should have the benefit of educating themselves on what really happened in the Honorable Sakande matter. May he so rest in peace. Before they go to town with their ignorance. 7. Black women, now be a question B.
Let me be say, in relation to a law, be a year dealing with a foreign law. Because the laws of Canada, no. Yeah, and you're betting at her, I educate you on it. And now say, yeah.
In fact, that's even another serious matter. We share the Evidence Act now. There were 2 important provisions. 1 deals with presumption of foreign law. Ekasu, there's a presumption say a foreign law is more or less the same as the laws of Ghana. That presumption is rebuttable by leading evidence say the law of Canada is different from that of Ghana. But yes, the Evidence Act of Ghana say foreign law is a question of fact. And because it's a question of fact, evidence of it must be led. A judge cannot, on your own accord, travel to Canada. Majority, a judge on your own accord, you cannot travel to Canada or say, Mako Wikipedia. In Mako, the law of Canada, and so I am applying it. It is not done.
Court no be twa ko Maybe at the embassy.
No, that be the parties must lead evidence to that.
Hey,
that evidence must be before you. You see, the rule of this game is that you see, idea any will judge any put me and go out of what is before you, the pleadings before you, and now be looking elsewhere. Anything that they be, the rule of the game is evidence. In a very recent Supreme Court decision, her ladyship, Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, MIA, Amasawa versus Hamza, Oniniku, Eseniku, Omukotna, Italy, Ebaya, no Munya Japadie, in some Ebaya, no. Now, Obemano, the lawyer, the lawyer, or filing a written submission or casu, property na Obana Nyaya, no, Obana graduate to say, Emrana or Italy, no, your prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
And that the laws of Italy makes prostitution a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Supreme Court, based on that, should hold it say you cannot benefit from a crime. Jajapadiana 1 year through prostitution, no court no enje no fama wo be mano. The Supreme Court said, something I will come say. If you intended to rely on foreign law, Italian law, you should have put it in your pleadings and lead evidence to that. So, Osha, no money na ye troka.
Mm-hmm.
Because, first of all, my senior Frank Davis are oye case no. One pleaded Sebio Canadian law. No, I can see section so and so of the Canadian law. I can see ABCD. Lawyer for Jechi and so on raised the issue of Canadian law. There was no evidence led because even in this case, legal arguments were taken based on the pleadings. So this issue of Canadian law, or referred to me with the greatest respect, Onyanifi, he went on his own. So with the greatest respect, with the very greatest respect, and your manner also as far as this Assin of we are concerned, in our view, it's a travesty. And that is why the party has given an indication that we will do an appeal of this decision. And I'm confident that by Monday morning, that appeal will be filed. Now, you should hear court no better.
A letter commission, a my indication be said he is ready, say, obey organized by election. Then go for be said, other than 1 year stay of execution. A bra judgment in the buy, no.
No, judgment in the that's Thursday. Oh, no, I think Wednesday or so. Usually over about 7 days period.
Okay.
Hello.
Me too.
7 days period. Then the issue about appeal no between about. You see, you must first file an appeal before you can apply to stay execution.
Oh, okay. So now guess what the intent to appeal to the decision of the court.
Exactly.
Okay.
So all filing for stay. Now court your notice of appeal. They may even say the application is incompetent. So first you have to file and then you attach a copy of the notice of appeal. And then I invoke the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal to hear your stay of execution. It's a step by step background.
Mami, we are there. We say a bus be a more file appeal. No, now we stay of execution. No, now we in jante processor electoral commission crop person. Why you na? Now is a by election. No, will be in limbo.
You see, the other thing is a background between you and I. My file say application for a notice of appeal. I apply for stay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, who electoral commission will say, no, me, I'm going ahead with the election. Sebi. Now we election, we by election. Now you say Edu winning. Cheniyo. Now Court of Appeal and to go through the matter, or should that be High Court decision declaring the seat null and void is improper. What do we do? Who will be the MP for Assin North?
Now you're back to square one again. Wow.
Black army, where the one we say, Yananum, Emrana, Sabi, Nami, or Pandu, Ayanamico, and Fiepa. Now, Mudia, same we are. You will say, Toby, Becca.
Hey, Mando, sir, oh, sir. Walk cemetery one, run about to know. And son, when you be cemetery one. Not sport to be or can I make tablet now, pa?
Oh,
baby, I may say
one casa, yes, I'm pro Christopher Columbus.
Oh, baby, I was at High Street, you know. What do you about see run about to know? What call when you say cemetery left? I want to make an.
In those days, no, I am for no back so. Yakuhu abrewaba na abrewan ebe more ideas on how the dispute should be resolved. Maybe sir, a very simple question. Who said Chinsna Mekoye by election? Sebi Akoye. There's an appeal pending. Sebi courts now I go through appeal. Also know the appeal has solid, arguable questions of law. We are going through. We are resolving the appeal in favor of the appellant here, the Honorable MP. But which time we electoral commission, once we acquire by election, and your candidate did that. Which of them should take the seat? Rakwame. If you go and say, Honor, see and come back to King Solomon, no my and Adrian. So it is only proper, say, all matters will stay, the status quo will stay for the time being. And yes, sir. In the coming days, you know, yes, sir.
Now, after ruling, no, what call Parliament. Now, no, am I just sworn in? Sabre court nso decide say no the okoye nyina nso enka ho matese yeso o mususu o mu the criminal charges bi ko bono ne ade na say na nipa na so abiri no e wa ha
no Sebio, what will be the offense and I make say in the worst case scenario
say wutie na nabi say Adamu secondary scenario
and I make say Sebio oyemenyonko lawyer before Obed making some of these commentaries, on go no kind the secondary decision. First, on looking at the records of proceedings. Second, then you will see the distinction. Secondary was convicted for deception, not like perjury. Because even when he became the MP for Boku, he was still in possession of his Canadian, UK passport. Rakwame, Major Ojaje. Unlike this one, who, before his election, the Electoral Commission had asked him to produce the certificate, which he did before the election. Not only that, the EC itself satisfied itself before allowing him to come. So who did he deceive? Odin Troche wine. Nanabi. No, maybe some we didn't track Nanabi and wine. The only person or a public officer, the Chinese interaction, Electoral Commission. It's the same Electoral Commission they receiving petition from Assin North Youth. No much petition, receiving, responding, responding, by producing the certificate to them. So okay, so see who say Adiano Krano, so go ahead. So who did he deceive? Nana B. Sebe, Yanma lawyer for before I back Kasano, because Yakasa people take or put premium. A little education wouldn't say any. And you know, the secondary decision, Justice Quest in the trial. In fact, there is an aspect of it. There was a submission of no case. Submission of no case, no, or board charges no be egu ye. And so I invited him to open his defense in respect of 1, 2 counts. So go and read the submission of no case. No kind the judgment itself. Then when you are speaking to the public, you not be mixing apples with oranges. That is how our training is.
OKFM 101.7.
Kwame, that is how our training is.
I see. Lawyer Maminya ona yenwe de ebesie yensem komodi afa na asha ase Monday say
send the obi na kan a journey of 1,000 miles definitely will start with something. So let's see how it ends. Monday
na mobeko Supreme Court on.
No, Court of Appeal for
Court of Appeal. The appellate court. Okay.
Yes. Now, so when we say Supreme Court, so Dr. Punia Semno, almost in a 3-2 decision. Omni and I
one mama Justice Honyoga.
My prohibited no.
I don't know as a Sunday bay.
No, sir, baby, I do know. There was a ruling on submission of no case. As soon as you based on what we say in a criminal trial, no prosecution, you can elect to, in your mind, prosecution, I raise a prima facie case against you. So you want to put up a defense. So, only prosecution, who believe it's a prosecution is so, and no one there's a rule in the Republic versus Ale Kasima. Very old decision. I provided the grounds. Who say the witness is not prosecution at the back court, no, or my contradiction here and there, and make it count.
Baby, cry. Woman, she must say that way. Na me waha me prove alibi.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just here. Oh yes, I know money in our year. Oh yeah, the friend application on the over kind of submission of the case. Into we are judging Ebema a ruling. Into share in the case of Doc, no. After prosecution review of the case, no. Lawyers for Doc, a submission of no case. And my lord, Emma ruling. Oma ruling, is not ye file a certiorari application and a prohibition. Now, grounds are agent so say, why invite you say yembe open your defense? But what I say, yembe open your defense. Now, in the ruling now, original so I invite you to open our defense. What make a comment open your defense to Krana. What make it up his mind. And that is not how the criminal laws of this country is organized. Because immediately a judge makes up your mind, then there's no point inviting them to open their defense. So to that extent, if it's not prohibited, it will not serve the cause of justice. But what I say, I also will court na judge and make a comment. Hey, or no kwa. What have you? Such a judge, with the greatest respect, would you be happy appearing before the person? Because before we do a crowd, say, oh no kwa. What's about you? In that, we share evidence act now session.
I me shadi bi, lawyer mami shadi bi. Say case wa court. Na we way na raise objection near overrule. We away now, we file application, but no about to agu near the idea. Yeah, na yenny a THDS, eh, now, where they were was here, the anro, when you nipple never to man over what Yanwo. Metaun sana a case, lawyer and judge, yes, say, well, kissing one trustee. Na Sadia na a cosopa, and na be genuinely. That was what's supposed to be.
One was a judge once application abandoned him, or who rights be agree and also be dismissed. It is his bosom to do. So the mere fact that you only 1 year agreeing on a particular application and say what they
by whereby repeatedly.
But Sebi, oh no, it can be repeated. Sebi, if the application is not well founded in law, regardless of how many times you repeat it, it's not well grounded. That's a different matter altogether. But in this particular case, we make key pronouncements in the ruling on submission of no case. Sebi, I'll just give you a classic example. Say, a kobase ebia yekasei maba court, would the witness aba investigator during the proceedings, investigator. But the documents are channel. Also, me fertilizer mass supply.
okayfm.
Fertilizer me yan test it. Tieni you yan test it. And I'm a supply. I'm so ya test it. No so yan test it. I'm so okay sir. No so testing period na 6 months. We so that be. It can be more. It can be less. And I made a document I buy HS. The same institution I hear complainants no. Under Sebi, your papa, the CEO of Cocoa Board. Fertilizer, our matolo. Test no crano. Oman yet at the time the procurement was done. Until the documents naturally said, look at it. Is it a report attached to the purchase of this fertilizer by the same complainant? Was yes. No, so OSHA document, yeah. Can you tell the court when ABR? Yeah, testing. No. So after the contract was signed, before they got their test results, so say, is that the case? Or say, amen. Or say, I want to tender this through the investigator. Prosecution is now who? Prosecution team. Or say, do you have any objection to this document being tendered through so and so person? Or say, no, we don't have any objection. Judge, by court, document admitted in evidence. Mark it as exhibit say 1 near Stratford. Now, Sebio, there's an application for submission of no case. Then in the submission of no case, what judge, after you have admitted the thing during the proceedings, in accordance with Section 6 of the Evidence Act, after ruling, also document no cra magia tum earlier no crano, my from so. Intino, we rejected those documents. It is not that. The issue of admissibility of otherwise of evidence is determined at the time when the evidence is received. And known as Supreme Court by a 3-2 majority, NEN Ayadrin. So these are the issues.
Okay. Now, yes, a judge, and Tennessee. The judge in Tennessee, what's the next level?
Say the case. So usually, once the orders are drawn, the orders will be transmitted to the registrar of the registry of that particular court. No, I serve a copy on the judge. To that extent, it will go back to the CG. And I say, if they have their own system of allocation, the case will be allocated to a different person. That's how it goes. Into Okaya Sebio, Emra, Honorable Kennedy, Japan, Assembly by so Kaisa contempt. You know, say, before.
Yachaso, and answer Amuso.
That be said, the Echo by and say, Emra, Omode case in the world judges root Hona, Supreme Court, can say he had made certain quote unquote statements that prejudiced the case. The Supreme Court prohibited him.
Oh, okay.
Into Omo prohibited, no, it went back to the registry and it was taken to a different judge. And before that judge, by apologizing to the court. And that's how the matter ended.
I see. And yet, young ready a bessie, now fee, be any iron twasso. Me that's it. Bye bye. Okay, 101.7. Lawyer Godwin, Edugi Tamakloe. Ena yeneno atwetwe enkomo no na
okayfm 101.7